So I know that you've been working on some stuff, Jenna, and I didn't really go into the epic part of what you're doing. So why don't you expand a little bit on that?
Sure. So I have my own executive coaching practice, as does Jules with Ensight Partner. And outside of that company that I have launched a company called EPIC, which is the acronym for Executive Performance Institute for Coaching. And that is a company where I bring a team of trainers and executive coaches, and we develop and train executive coaches. So it's an institute, it's a training program, and we educate the skill set. So whether people want to become a coach for themselves or they want to learn the skills for their company with the role that they're playing or want to promote to, that's what we do.
Perfect. Jules?
Yeah, I'm an executive coach, like you mentioned, and leadership consultant for Ensight Partners. Ensight is with an E, which stands for Executive Insight. And the whole purpose of why we do what we do is to bring some solace to emotionally reactive leaders. So we'll go in and talk to emotionally reactive leaders and their teams and help them find balance. It's really increasing their emotional intelligence skills and their communication skills so that they can have more harmony in the workplace. And if there's more harmony and they're spending less time on the small annoying things or little tidbits that just cause you to get overloaded for the rest of your day, then you're going to be making more money because you're actually working.
Great. When you say feelings, I always go to that woman side of things because we rule with our heart. How would you say, like, men or women, what's your percentage for your clients? Pretty equal?
Right. Oh, that's a good question. Last year, there was a time period where I only had a male book of business until Jenna came around and we started trading coaching. And so that was it was almost weird. I was like, what is this going on that men are opening up to me and wanting to talk to me? This is exciting and weird all at the same time. Since then, I still have a bit more men than women, probably 60-40 split.
I like that. Jenna, what about you?
I'm actually inverted of that. So It's been different. The ratio has changed over the years at different points. But right now I have about 60% women and then 40% men.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
And when I first met you, Jenna, you were working for someone else at another company, and it wasn't long before you came to the exchange meeting one day. I don't remember which chapter we were at. I feel like it was Sherman Oaks chapter. And you're like, yep, here's my cards, here's what I'm doing, and it's me, and I am reintroducing myself as Jenna Dillon, and this is what's going on. So that's a huge step, like big step. You walked into the room as like Miss CEO. You're like, okay, I have a new hat today. Remember, new hats. That might be a theme today in our.
Some foreshadowing there.
Yeah. So, how was success modeled for you? How did you get enough chutzpah, for lack of a better term, to just go out on your own, and especially now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually ended up having several different models of success. So my parents were a really, and still are, I experienced them being a great team. I have two brothers and myself, and there was no help, like no extra nanny or any babysitters on a regular basis coming to help me and my brothers with extracurricular activities or homework. Like, my parents worked full time and figured out how to make it work, and seeing them work hard and make that happen demonstrated to me that, okay, like, I'm going to work hard to try to create the life that I want and the career that I want, and I get to design it however I want. So that was they were huge influences to me as a kid. And I think even now, I've been learning one of my strongest attributes in my character is determination. And I got a lot of passion. It's like overloading, every day. And so those are that like is what was the word you used, Lindy? The oomph, or I forget the word you used, but
chutzpah.
yeah, there you go.
it's like it's like a Yiddish. It's like a slang that like a lot of nerve, a lot of like a lot of motivation, and like I'm gonna do it, and
and I think Jules, I'd love to hear if you've had this experience with coaching, but ever since I even hired a coach before knowing what coaching was, that was really how I got introduced to coaching. What I learned that it was a mindset process for me to go, I don't know if I can have A, B, C, and D to I'm going to figure out how, right? Like I'm going to figure out how to make that happen. I'm really curious to see how I can make blank happen. And so it was also that mindset shift that led me to be where I am now.
I love that. So Jules, I feel like it's a little opposite for you. You have mentioned in the past something where you come from like success equals how much money do I make and how busy can I stay? And sometimes that is going to be taking you away from your family. That's going to be taking you away from your friends, or something that maybe other people value as success, like having friends or going out or being able to cook dinner and, sit down and have a family dinner, something as opposed to being out of the home, traveling, or one of those, I hate to say this, but, high-powered corporate jobs. How did you make that switch?
Oh, that's a good question. The model that I got was stay-at-home mom and dad that was gone 12 hours a day, every day. And so I saw how hard my dad worked. He's in real estate development. So there's all kinds of sales process, as you fully understand, Lindy, in your industry. And I thought that I had to be like a slave driver, like almost in my work ethic. And I thought that's what success meant. And so I went after that. That's what I thought I had to do. So I wore the pearls and the business suits, and I called it a monkey suit for a long time. And I did that.
Pearls.
Oh yeah. They're still hanging out in there in my closet. but yeah, I put on that corporate outfit, the corporate world, and it broke me. Like I wanted to have a life outside of that. So I just burned the candle on both ends. I was working 10, 11, 12 hours a day, and then going home and trying to have family life, as it were, with my, friends that I chose as family that I lived with. And eventually it didn't work for me. Like I became a person that I didn't like. I started being pretty ugly in the office. I started being pretty ugly at home. And it took a really big fight with my best friend to realize, whoa, like something's got to shift. Like there's a problem here, and it's over here, not over there. And that's when I shortly after left the corporate world and took a leave of absence and had to discover for myself what success really meant, and how is that going to look for me. And one of them was success means doing the job that I would do for free. And so that's how I fell into coaching. I thought I was going to be a therapist someday, but that's before I even knew what coaching was.
But
right?
You're kind of a therapist too.
You're talking about some very vulnerable things. There's some very big differences between coaching and therapy. A common misconception for people, which is why coaching can be a little scary for people sometimes. Coaching's looking in the past, healing the past, and you kind of stay there, where coaching is looking in the future. It's starting from the present day going forward.
Therapy is looking in the past. I think you mentioned coaching was looking in the past.
Oh, thank you for correcting me. Yes, therapy is looking in the past, staying in the past, and coaching is looking into the future. Thank you for the correction, Jenna.
Yeah.